Again, Harry is in a position now where he is conflicted about his life with Meghan, not sure about moving forward with her. And I think he needed a motherly person, someone to give him some advice. Of course, he couldn't go to Doria, right? This is exactly what it was. He was there trying to get some advice about some choices, decisions that he is going to have to make about his marriage. Whether you want to recognize it or not, or just say, well, I support my wife, deep down, alone at night, when you are with your own thoughts and that woman is off snoring away.
They promised to rewrite history, but now they can't even rewrite the script of their own marriage.
To reckon in your head and count all these things that you have lost. Where's your future? Where are you going? Where's your family? You literally have no future.
They swore they'd rewrite history, but now they can't even rewrite the messy script of their own marriage. For years, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry seemed untouchable, like the golden couple who cracked the code that no royal had before. Their union wasn't just about love, it was crafted like a blockbuster, a royal romance sprinkled with Hollywood sparkle.
I know a lot about that, which I'm not going to go into in detail today, but they've now effectively been used as the outlet to deny the Hollywood Reporter's story. It is an absolutely bizarre.
Every entrance looked choreographed, every photo staged like a scene, and the crowd couldn't look away. They weren't just holding hands. They were clutching the dreams of people desperate to believe that modern fairy tales still existed. The world wanted them to be that living fantasy, proof that the crown and California sunshine could actually mix. But here's the twist. Fairy tales don't always collapse in some grand, fiery crash. Sometimes they crumble slowly, almost in silence, leaving behind cracks so thin you barely notice them until it's too late. And that's exactly what played out on that infamous day.
Money, you're not in a country that you really truly feel welcomed and like this is going to be your forever. You are so.
Harry stood tall at the podium, microphone steady, his voice smooth, every line carefully delivered. For a moment, he looked like the prince who had it all together. Confident, charming, captivating, but just beneath the polish, the cracks were waiting to show. And then Meghan appeared. No introduction, no cue, no warning.
Her employees revealed as fresh details emerge after dictator claims. And then the article reads, GB News has been handed an absolute denial of the allegations as well as Meghan's message to her employees and has confirmed with several current staffers that the...
Just Meghan sliding onto that stage with her trademark presence, like she owned the moment. She tapped Harry lightly on the back, a tiny gesture most people would have ignored. But in that instant, the atmosphere shifted. His words tripped, his eyes darted, and the smooth rhythm of his speech shattered right before the cameras.
Said, these quotes were fabricated by someone lacking knowledge of our company. The Duke and Duchess work for Montecito and we're based in Hollywood.
At first glance, it looked harmless. A gentle tap, the kind of everyday couple move nobody would normally care about. But this wasn't behind closed doors. This was in front of flashing lights, rolling cameras, and an audience hanging on every detail. Suddenly, that simple touch became something much bigger, something loaded with meaning. By sunrise, the clip had exploded across social media.
Harry is, I think, trying to find this independence, trying to learn independence to get...
Internet detectives broke it down frame by frame like it was a crime scene from a royal thriller. Harry's stumble, the flicker in his expression, Meghan's bold insistence, it all became ammunition for endless speculation. Didn't matter that it lasted less than 2 seconds, because to the internet, it was proof of something way bigger.
And that this quote would fly, but the circumstances don't even allow for it. If she's marching around and barking orders to Archewell employees, no Archewell employee could factually claim that. It's total nonsense.
Some swore Meghan was flexing her dominance, staking her claim in front of millions. Others whispered that Harry was finally fed up with living in her shadow. Suddenly, that tiny flick of a hand wasn't just a tap. It was the tap heard around the world. And here's the real sting.
Where you have to make tough choices and decisions, and that's what he is trying to do right now. So that's why he met with her. It makes so much...
This couple has spent years carefully polishing their image. Every smile practiced, every photo op orchestrated, every word micromanaged to scream unity. They've built an empire on the illusion of being perfectly in sync. But no press release, no polished PR stunt could erase what people witnessed in that raw, unscripted moment. It wasn't polished. It wasn't rehearsed. It was real. And that reality cracked open a window people weren't supposed to see.
believes that she had filed angry 5 a.m. emails to employees. And then GB News has another source saying, who hasn't sent an email when they can't sleep or awake early?
Behind closed doors, that tap wasn't just affection. Insiders claim it was the latest round in a tug-of-war that's been boiling for months. Meghan and Harry might look like a team in public, but privately it's becoming a ruthless battle of wills. And Meghan, she's always been a strategist by nature. Every move, every gesture, always part of the bigger game.
Either of them at that hour, and even if I did, the Duchess specifically notes in her email signature that everyone has a different working day, and to not feel obligated to respond outside of...
Meghan thrives when she's steering the ship. From the outfits they wear to the causes they endorse, even down to how the headlines should read, she wants it all aligned to her blueprint. To her, this isn't about vanity, it's about control. She knows their entire brand survives on precision because one slip, one wrong move, and the critics will tear them apart.
Griffiths, who is this new propagandist, is really talking up this September meeting.
For Meghan, that means nothing gets to slide, not even the tiniest detail. Harry, though, is wired differently. He's the emotional one, the prince who wants to speak from the heart instead of memorizing every line like an actor on set. For years, he went along with Meghan's strict order, swallowing his instincts for the sake of unity. But insiders say lately he's pulling back. He craves authenticity, messy moments that feel real instead of rehearsed. And that's exactly where the friction sparks. Meghan taps his shoulder, ready to grab the mic.
In another condemnation of the claims, GB News understands that Meghan's email signature contains the phrase, quote, "My working day may not be your working day. Please do not feel obliged."
But Harry freezes. He doesn't move. The hesitation says everything. He pauses, and in that hesitation, the whole story spills out. She's pushing. He's resisting. To the casual viewer, it looked like a harmless stumble on stage. But to those watching closely, it was something far more revealing. This was a power struggle unfolding live, a tug-of-war between Meghan's need to lead and Harry's desperate need to finally breathe.
5:30 a.m., but whatever. My biggest point is, wow, what happened to GB News and how desperate is Meghan to now be using one of her...
And when those two forces collide, even the tiniest touch can feel like a full-blown battle. The truth about Meghan and Harry isn't explosive shouting matches. People close to them say those are rare. The real tension lives in the silence. The kind of heavy silence that hangs over the dinner table, where two people sit just a few feet apart but feel a mile away.
First though, have you ever wondered what happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? Well, I recently saw a video he made, and I was shocked. He's in his 80s.
That's the kind of distance no palace PR team can spin, and insiders say it always starts small, a fight over which photos to post, a debate about how personal an interview should go. Even petty things like who gets behind the wheel. Sounds trivial, right? But under the crushing weight of global pressure, even the little cracks start piling up until they threaten the whole foundation.
What's even more shocking is he's stronger, can work out longer, and even has plenty of energy left over for his grandkids. He did this by just making
One eye roll turns into an argument. One heavy sigh becomes a standoff, and before long, silence doesn't mean peace anymore, it means avoidance. Harry has always played the role of peacemaker, the joker who lightens the mood, the guy who pours the wine and smooths things over. But lately, that charm is wearing thin. Friends say he looks exhausted, tired of always patching the cracks while pretending everything's fine.
He says he still feels like he's in his 50s. His wife even started doing this one thing too, and she's never felt better. She says she feels 10 years younger. Her body looks leaner, and she has energy all day.
Meanwhile, Meghan has doubled down harder than ever. She demands the polished version of life, the picture-perfect smiles, because she knows one slip online can snowball into global humiliation. That's the real danger. They've built an image so glossy it's become a cage. They're not just husband and wife anymore. They're a walking business model.
By going to chuckdefense.com/outspoken or by clicking in the link in the show notes below this video on YouTube and Rumble. It will change the way you think about your health.
Their love story has been monetized, packaged, and sold. And every single deal, from Netflix documentaries to million-dollar speaking tours, depends on one fragile illusion, that they're a rock-solid united front. Behind the curtain, though, keeping up that brand has started to suffocate them both. That's where the fire really ignites. Meghan runs their life like a CEO, and every single move has to fit the master plan. Every outing is a campaign.
.com/outspoken and click on the link in the description below to watch the video now. You simply will not believe how simple it is Just a reminder, the legendary Chuck Norris is a whopping 84 years old, and I have to be honest.
Every photo, every headline, carefully sculpted to feed the brand she's building. She's not just playing for today, she's chasing legacy. For Meghan, perfection isn't an option, it's survival. One wrong step, and the empire they've built could come crashing down.
Eventually, I think it won't be enough for Meghan and it won't be enough for Harry. And she will just go off, and her next step is a billionaire.
But Harry, he's growing to despise the performance, the endless staged smiles, the scripted interviews, the choreographed photo shoots. It's eating at him. He craves something raw, something unscripted, a laugh that bursts out naturally, a speech without bullet points, a moment that belongs to him, not the world watching. And that's the clash that won't die down.
So why not step up to a billionaire? And why not go for politics? Why not become governor of California?
So Angela Levin, there's lots of interest.
Meghan sees her control as protection, a shield against the critics. Harry sees it as a cage closing in. For years, he bent to her vision, out of love, out of loyalty. But now, insiders whisper he's waking up to a brutal truth. The brand they built is slowly swallowing the marriage alive. Every disagreement isn't just between a husband and wife anymore. It's a direct threat to their empire.
Outspoken, or by clicking in the link in the show notes below this video on YouTube and Rumble. It will change the way you think about your health.
Staff feel the tension. Sponsors sense it. Even loyal fans are starting to notice the cracks. The smiles look tighter. The chemistry feels staged. What was once a love story now reads more like a business contract dressed up as romance. And when business and marriage mix, somebody always ends up losing. Harry has never been the dramatic type. He's not the man who storms out of rooms or slams down ultimatums. His defiance is quieter, almost invisible, until you step back and realize it's been building all along. It starts small, a skipped meeting here, a cancelled appearance there.
That Meghan Markle thought she was marrying into a sort of a starring role in the royal family, and then, but then it became apparent that Catherine, as the wife of William to the heir, was the real star wife, and then
Yes.
and she struggled with that.
Yes, I don't think Meghan ever considered being a supporting actress. I think she wanted to be a star.
I think that is one of the huge problems, isn't it, Angela? Because
Meghan wants him polished, rehearsed, camera-ready, the perfect co-star for her empire. But Harry begins showing up late, fumbling through lines, even refusing to parrot the talking points handed to him. To outsiders, it might look sloppy, but insiders say it's his quiet rebellion. He's done playing the flawless prince. Because to him, perfection doesn't feel like love anymore. It feels like a costume he never chose to wear. Friends close to the couple reveal Harry has been carving out tiny pockets of freedom. Private calls with his old army buddies, quiet trips where Meghan's PR team isn't hovering over his shoulder.
And pretended that she was walking in the distance. And then not long after that humiliation, obviously this is on the stage, everybody's there watching it, the other organizer, a gentleman, goes...
Even his body language is screaming louder than his words ever could. At events, he lingers a step or two behind her, arms crossed, eyes down. It's subtle, easy to miss, until you notice it once, and then you can't unsee it. And Meghan? She notices too. To her, every hesitation feels like betrayal.
Supporting actress. I think she wanted to be a star.
I think that is one of the huge problems, isn't it, Angela? Because when you were writing...
Every unscripted word is a crack in the empire she's fought to keep airtight. So she clamps down tighter, doubling her grip on the narrative. But the harder she pulls, the more Harry slips away. What plays out isn't explosive arguments. It's something quieter, more chilling, a dance of silence and resistance. Meghan pulling, Harry drifting. No shouting, no public scenes. Just the slow, steady unraveling of a man exhausted from being managed and a woman unwilling to surrender control. If there's one thing nobody can deny about Meghan, it's that she doesn't stop.
Accept his role as spare. Because Diana always really tried to get him to understand, even though he was just a young child really, that he had to. His life...
Her entire life has been about shoving through doors that were never supposed to open for her. From rejection-filled Hollywood auditions to the cold judgment of the palace, Meghan has always survived on grit and relentless determination. And now, that same unshakable drive fuels her marriage. To Meghan, hesitation is deadly. One slip in their image, one flicker of weakness, and the empire they've built could collapse overnight.
goes to take it, he holds it back and even laughs and says no, and then continues talking. So it could be lots of reasons why she didn't go, but
The multi-million-dollar documentaries, the explosive book deals, the headline-grabbing speaking tours, they all depend on the illusion of a couple who are flawless, united, and unbreakable. So when Harry drags his feet, she doesn't see it as nerves or exhaustion. She reads it as sabotage, whether he means it that way or not. Admirers call it resilience.
Because I know we're going to come to Prince Harry in New York, where he is today, very shortly, but she's also not there either. So this was an opportunity for her.
They say Meghan's just doing what any strong woman would, protecting her family, securing their future, refusing to let the crown or the tabloids script her fate. But critics, they paint a darker picture. To them, Meghan isn't protective. She's controlling, domineering, and suffocating a husband who's simply begging for air. This clash is exactly what makes their marriage so combustible.
trouble ahead, I think, for the couple. It's becoming glaringly obvious that salt and pepper, as Meghan once said, no longer move together. They seem to be doing more and more.
Meghan barrels forward with the speed of a train, strategizing every outfit, every headline, every appearance, while Harry quietly pulls back, desperate for space that never comes. Of course, every couple argues. Every couple rolls their eyes or storms out of a room mid-sentence. But for Harry and Meghan, those moments don't just fade into memory. They get frozen, magnified, and replayed by millions of strangers online.
It seems that Harry is the one being elevated. It's Harry being asked to go to events and
a slight pause between them at a charity gala. Suddenly, the tabloids scream, "Marriage in crisis." Meghan nudges Harry's arm on stage to keep him on cue. Comment sections explode with accusations that she's bossy and controlling. Harry flashes a smile that's just a little too wide with someone else.
obviously on WME's client list. But it would seem that Harry's almost being elevated and Meghan is being pushed into the background. Now, I can't see her.
Social media rushes to label him miserable at home. Their private frustrations aren't private anymore. Every hesitation, every glance, every tiny slip in chemistry becomes public property, and the world treats it like evidence in a never-ending trial of their love. Meghan's assertiveness has become a lightning rod.
Taking that too well, to be honest with you. And as you said, he's in New York. It's only the first 24 hours of his appearances, and I'm sure that we will get a paparazzi car park stroll with Meghan.
To her fans, she's confident, powerful, and in control. But to her critics, that same confidence looks like domination. And Harry's quiet nature, it only fuels the fire. His silences are spun into weakness, as though he's a man too fragile to stand up for himself. Every clip becomes viral fodder. Every whisper mutates into a conspiracy theory. The narrative doesn't just move forward, it spins faster and faster, swallowing them whole. And behind the glossy headlines, the toll is brutal. Insiders whisper that Harry has returned to therapy, desperate to untangle the storm raging inside his head, a storm he can't quiet with charm or speeches.
Barbara Montecito area. You can synchronize your watches to it normally when her husband is making appearances, but there does seem to be.
Meanwhile, Meghan isn't slowing down. She's tightening her grip, doubling down on strategy, calculating every step, and pushing for even stricter control over their public image. To her, it's survival. To him, it's suffocation.
Politics is name recognition. And Paul Burrell is also right to say that Meghan is always looking for the next thing. Harry is not going to make her a billionaire. Prince Harry will not make Meghan Markle a billionaire. She wants to be a billionaire if it's the last thing she does.
It's a vicious cycle. The harder they work to polish their image, the more ammunition they hand to the critics. The pressure never fades, and caught in the middle is their marriage. Something once sacred and private, now left gasping for air under the weight of constant scrutiny. For those paying attention, this isn't about love disappearing. The affection is still there, hiding in flashes. You see it when Harry instinctively leans toward Meghan in a rare, quiet moment, or when she fusses over his tie before stepping into the spotlight. The tenderness hasn't vanished.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? It is very odd. And certainly there's trouble in terms of her Hollywood career, because
it's just buried deep beneath layers of tension. But love alone doesn't always hold against the storm. That spark that once made them magnetic, the laughter, the playful chemistry, the aura of being untouchable, now feels replaced by something heavier. Their movements are careful.
See, that they hosted, and that's a really significant moment in the Hollywood calendar. Again, that would have been an opportunity for her to say, oh, I'm not taking this Hollywood Reporter thing very seriously, but I think she is, and I will come to that momentarily.
Their smiles measured, their exchanges staged, Instead of moving in sync, they look like two people performing a routine they can't afford to mess up in front of the cameras. To their supporters, this is just a season of strain. Every marriage has ups and downs, right?
Hot. I'm not going to make her a billionaire, trust me. So who will? A new man.
Theirs is simply unfolding under the brightest spotlight on Earth. But to their critics, the cracks are confirmation. Proof that the fairy tale was never built to last, that the couple who believed they could rewrite history are now struggling just to keep the beat of their own rhythm. What makes it sting is how visible every slip has become. A pause held too long.
What was interesting too, and remember Paul Burrell does have some insight into Prince Harry, even though he last saw him face to face, he says, in 2017, I believe.
A glance that doesn't quite connect. A smile that feels more like effort than instinct. None of it escapes notice. The world is watching, dissecting, multiplying those small signs until they start to feel like prophecy. The marriage isn't gone, not yet, but it's leaning, wobbling, fighting hard against the weight of its own expectations.
That when Prince Harry first met the duplicitous fake Duchess, he didn't...
And that leaves one haunting question. Can Harry and Meghan find their rhythm again, or are we watching the slow unraveling of a story that once promised to change everything? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned, because this story is far from over. See you in the next one.